Chaudhary, do you think this indigenization and procurement is a problem, a larger problem in the defense circuit, Indian defense circuit?
Most certainly, as far as aviation is concerned, because military aviation is a very complex field. I mean, unlike other weapon systems, which are easier to develop over time, you must understand there are a whole lot of technologies which come together on this. And one of the issues was, yes, most certainly the engine. But I would like to point out one aspect here is that, while we are talking about this, there's a lot of confusion on in people's minds. This 114 aircraft is an absolute must to fill a gap. And that gap filler should not be mistaken or confused with the future requirements and development of the Tejas Mark 1A coming in, Mark 2, and subsequently the AMCA, the Atmanirbharta aspect of it. So that is a long-term project, and that will take time. Most certainly, whichever platform we choose to go for, whether it is the Rafale or the Su-57, I am sure there are a huge amount of professionals on the job on this who have already assessed the requirements, and they will make the best choice of platforms. And I've already said this, in fact, on your platform as well, that more often than not, a choice of a fighter platform invariably becomes it's a geopolitical it's an outcome of geopolitics, not really necessarily every time what the Indian Air Force needs and wants. But this time around, I think there's a lot of clarity in people's minds because air power had sort of receded in the background. Sindoor has brought it back to the forefront, what air power and offensive air power and offensive air defense can do for the nation's and national security. So that is absolutely clear. But the challenge here is that we must understand that the Atmanirbharta is a long-term strategy. It cannot fill the gap of this 114. So the 114 which comes in has to come in at probably, as was mentioned, someone mentioned it, as of yesterday. So this is something which we really need to look into. Accelerate the acquisition of this 114 aircraft and parallelly pursue. Because when we go into the 114 deal, it will also have enormous implications on our AMCA project for the future. Do remember that by the time we get our 5th generation aircraft, the Chinese, which have already has the 5th generation aircraft deployed in Tibet, will have the 6th generation in place by the time our 5th generation comes out. So that means in the north, we have 6th generation fighters, which will be there in another decade's time, in less than a decade's time. Pakistan would get 5th generation fighters. So we are already behind the curve. So the biggest challenge here in indigenization is the production scale. It is not only getting everything together, it's also building a capacity to produce the numbers of at least 2 squadrons per year. Otherwise, we are in trouble. But I only hope I see, I think the whole government and the entire security environment and the aviation industry is seized of this matter, but it needs a top-down push for the government to make sure that our indigenous industries play ball on this. This cannot be looked like a commercial production by the HAL, but needs to be looked at from a larger national security perspective. It has to be a national security commitment by our indigenous military aviation industry to produce and give what the nation needs for its future air power.
Very nicely put, sir. But Dr. Bahal, that's the catch-22 situation. You can't circumvent the laws that have been made in Parliament, passed in Parliament, the rules. And we know that we need these aircrafts in a shorter time span, 6 months, 7 months, a year.
Absolutely right. Now, when we wanted to take shortcut, we did take shortcut because you mentioned Parliament. We went in, that time the discussion was to take 126 Rafale, but we went for a government-to-government deal and took 36 Rafale. Now, why didn't we take 126 at that period of time? We wouldn't be having this problem today. But second, an important point, as the Air Marshal had mentioned so beautifully. Now, I want to tell you this, that we are going to knock off 3 squadrons of MiG-29, 3 squadrons of Mirage 2000, 6 squadrons of Jaguar. That is 12 squadrons in the next 10 years. And already we had 3 crashes of Jaguar this year. The second and important factor is that we can always do a government-to-government deal to get these aircraft quickly. The fact that was being mentioned about the 114 aircraft as of yesterday is very, very important. Please do not mix. Like a lot of the scientists that you have come up on your channel, they continue to talk about AMCA coming up. Remember, AMCA's, it's in design stage. It's an expression of interest. We haven't even got the consortium that is going to build this aircraft in place as of this moment. It could be L&T, it could be Adani Defense, it could be anything. But we haven't got them right now in picture. Now, we were talking of HAL. I just want to tell you one very small thing about HAL's work performance. Now, somebody mentioned that they have large number of airframes ready. They have only 10 airframes ready. There are already 4 engines that have come in for Mark 1A. But there is no integration till now of those and handed over. I mean, they're doing it, but it has not been handed over to the Indian Air Force. The second thing is the questions that still remain, whether they're going to integrate Astra, whether they're going to integrate BrahMos, and what about the radar matching up with all these? Have they done that kind of integration till now? I'm not so sure, sir. And also, they had promised us 10 aircraft by. Even if you have the engines, they cannot get 10 aircraft by December. They had mentioned 12 aircraft by 2026 March. I can assure you, I'll be on this channel again in April. If they give even 10 aircraft by March 2026, it will be HAL's great achievement. It's a bureaucratic organization, functions in a bureaucratic manner. There is no way that they will be able to accelerate despite having the third center being put up. So the best answer is, and AMCA we were talking about.
So what's the Ramband, sir? What's the Ramband?
The Ramband is government to government deal. Go for 257 transfer of technology. It will help you in AMCA also.
Okay, I've really run short of time. Thank you all of you for just enlightening me and my audience on this issue.